thank you everyone for coming. Before we introduce ourselves, Javier is actually going to start setting up some stuff that you guys don't have to care about it now, but we're going to go back to later at the end of the presentation. And while he does, I can say that my name is Marjorie. I work in the Facebook London office in our security team. And let's see what he's doing there. Yeah.
Hey, hello everyone. My name is Javier Marcos. I am a security engineer on Facebook, and I work in the headquarters in California. And the talk today is a little bit of a compilation of how an open source security project that it's a security project is different from a standard open source project. And the main goals that we want to try to address today is they are based on OSQuery, the experiences that the lessons we learned with OSQuery. If you haven't heard about OSQuery, it's a host instrumentation tool. It's written in C++, and it runs in OS X, Linux, and very soon in Windows. And it has like over 6,000 stars on GitHub, so it's one of the most popular security projects at GitHub, and it's fully open source. It was developed within Facebook, open sourced in Facebook, and it did open source like a year and a half ago. So the main idea of this presentation is to share some of the lessons that we learned by open sourcing this tool, which was a security tool, and trying to build a security community around it. And then also we're going to be open sourcing another project, a new project for the security open source project of Facebook. The main motivation about like why did you guys open source OSQuery? It could have been just another tool that it was developed inside and it was just used inside of Facebook. But for us, it was kind of like a game changer to the fact that we did open source OSQuery, and we did open source it since the very beginning of the development. So everything was running in the open. Like we have the source of truth is GitHub. We have the problems, bugs, new features. They are all in GitHub issues. Pull request, fully development. It runs in GitHub. We built based on all pull requests and all commits with the GitHub source of truth. So everything is just open. It's as an open source, and we managed to build a very good security community around it. And we are going to be pointing out some of the things that we learned and how that happened. Like I said, host instrumentation tool. It runs in every single machine in Facebook, corporate and production. That's the way that we try to take the bigger picture of what's the ecosystem of machines that we have. It's not the only security tool that we have open source in Facebook. It's part of some other tools, like for example Threat Exchange. It's like a threat intel community, or Infer is a static analyzer for Java and Objective-C. So the main idea is to just go through that, and OSQuery will be the example.
Yeah, so here are some stats on OSQuery on GitHub. So these are comparing to all of the other open source projects that Facebook has. So out of 300,000 followers, 6,000 are in OSQuery, almost 3,000 from 100,000 commits, 600 out of 50,000 forks, and 1 out of the 411 repos that we have at Facebook. So Facebook is very committed to open sourcing as many projects that we have. So,
sorry.
There you go. There you go. Oops. Yeah, so the OSQuery community right now, it's big. So we have 6,000 followers with 88 contributors. And 88 might sound like a small number, but I think anyone that has run a open source project knows that having 88 people constantly doing pull requests and giving us features to implement or feedback on the stuff that's already implemented, it's really great. And the thing that we want to point out here as well is not just these 88 contributors that are actually making impact in the project. All of the followers that we have, not all of them, but a big number of them are constantly also giving us feedback on the tool, making feature requests, and everything like that. And the one thing that Facebook wasn't anticipating when we open sourced OSQuery was the need for private conversations. So the past projects that Facebook open sourced, we had this mentality that everything needs to be in the open, and people love to talk about the issues and do the pull requests on GitHub. But because of the nature of this project and being related to security, not all companies or individuals actually want to release or disclose stuff that they find or might not find with OSCRE. So that was a need of adjustment to start those private conversation channels for people that want to contribute. They want to be involved, but they don't necessarily want to have it on GitHub, which was a bit of a surprise, right? But they still are part of the community that actually, try to submit fix. They try to help with giving us feedback and everything like that. And having all these people helping us on OSCRE makes it so the project actually has Facebook as a client, but all of these other people that are changing the tool for their use case, which is great. Having this project also gives us the ability to mentor new contributors, right? That might not necessarily know the technologies that OSCRE uses, but through the pull request steps on GitHub, we can, come up with a strategy on how to mentor them well, how to get them sped up with C++ and everything that OSCRE uses it. So that's great as well.
So, to talk a little bit about the community that has been built around OSCRE, here you have three main examples of tools or projects that they've been the foundation of this project is OSCRE. Like the first one here is a project from Heroku, which is being also contributed by GitHub, and GitHub actually uses it. It's an actual TLS endpoint. So the way that OSCRE works is OSCRE runs as an agent in the machine that you have it running, and then you need to distribute the queries that OSCRE is going to be running, and you're going to be sending those logs somewhere. So for us, the main, the use case to say, all right, how other people can do it, because internally we were using our own TLS endpoints and our own solutions, but we had to come up with a solution for other people to be able to use it the same way that we were doing it. And we were using an additional agent to just get those logs out, like for example, Splunk Forwarder or Logstash Forwarder, which was like making it run in two agents in the same machine. It wasn't ideal. So we have OSCRE was able to do configuration fetching and also sending the logs out there using the TLS plugin, but there was not a proper way to do it. So what Heroku did was they open sourced their code to do a TLS endpoint to distribute configuration and to receive the logs. So that's a really, really great example of how you can be using OSCRE as a single agent that does all the work for you. And then the other two projects, the first, Central. Central is like a full solution for IT management or corporate assets management, which uses OSCRE as an agent. And they built their own solution for distributing logs and configuration using TLS. It's a great project. You guys should check it out because they pretty much do all the integration and configuration completely done by them. So it's great. And actually a company was built around it to be able to offer that as a product. And the last one, Doorman, is like a way to manage a fleet of computers that have OSCRE running on them, that assigns them like a unique ID, and you are able to distribute different queries or configurations across those, which is another great project, because that was another use case of things that they were the way that we were doing in Facebook internally was like too tied to our infra to be open sourced, but there was this is something that some other people might want to do it the same, but we cannot really open source our solution yet. So these guys just did it, which is great.
Cool. So after all the great results that we got from open sourcing OSCRE, we need to think about how we can grow the security community in open source by educating the next generation, right? So according to Times, apparently by 2020, the security industry is going to reach 170 billion. I'm guessing, dollars. And we're going to face a staff shortage of 1.5 million professionals. So Facebook started thinking, how can we bridge that gap, right? And apparently 60% of millennials don't actually know that security is a career path for them. So that's why today we're actually very proud to announce that we're going to be expanding the Facebook open source security family, not just have thread exchange, infer, and OSCRI. We are open sourcing our CTF platform that we've been using for the past year or so, and been developing for the past 2.5 years. Take a step back, a CTF, what is a CTF? It's a capture the flag competition, and it's very common in the security community where people can capture countries to win points, and the way you can capture those countries is by solving a few challenges. These challenges can be crypto challenge, so cryptographic challenge, forensics, binary, remote code execution, web security. You can win those challenges, get points, and win the competition. So we've been running this for the past 3.5 years in a few universities, high schools, and a few conferences as well. Facebook has been running it with this platform that we've developed, and it's been a great success, not just for the people that have been participating in these competitions, and for us, because it's just a lot of fun. People learn about security. We get to see what is the next generation of people in colleges or in conferences that actually want to be involved in the community. So there's a lot of advantage to actually open sourcing this and allowing not just us to go into these universities and actually running these competitions, but give the power to colleges, high school, companies to go use our platform, tweak it to the way that they want it, and run it themselves. So let's actually show you guys the platform.
It's just...
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still deploying probably the networks.
Yeah, so the demo gods apparently and the Wi-Fi wasn't happy, but we're going to show you guys here how to provision the platform in a VM to... Is it done? Almost
yeah,
done?
It's probably
okay.
done. It's just installing. It's pretty slow anyway. Well, what we wanted to show here that was if the configuration works as expected, it takes 6 to 7 minutes. Now it took 11 minutes, which is the time that it takes from not having anything to having a full provision CTF platform. So we take care of all that in the provisioning script. We do use HHVM for the backend. So the whole platform is written in Hack. It's like the extension of PHP, the PSP++. And
type extension.
Yeah. Then, well, like for example, here you can see this is like the deploy is based on like this is development mode, which creates self-signed keys, and then you have like a fully working CTF platform, and like the admin is created by default for the development, but for the, like if you can deploy it in a production system, and then the password is going to be auto-generated. Anyway, this is like a empty CTF, so we are going to show you like a little bit of video of like a full swing CTF that has like challenges, and then you can actually see how everything is done. So the platform takes care of every single aspect of running a CTF, which is, it starts with registration of teams. And then here you can see like the game board is like a risk style of map, where each country is going to be one challenge. And then the challenges can be like anything from a question to a system that you compromise and remain access to it. And then you can get information about the other teams. There is a game clock that is telling you how much time is left. Then, for example, for the solution, you just submit the solution, who can be formatted or can be any way. Then it will show you what's the actual scoreboard. Everything is real time, because one thing that we learned from running a CTF is that we learn about running CTFs by playing a lot of them. And you have to understand the frustration of the teams when you play one of these competitions to see you need to display good information on like timely, it has to be pretty much real time, and this is one of the main things that we try to focus on when we were developing this platform. And the other thing was when we were having something that it was doing the trick for a while, and then we decided to redesign and re-engineer the whole platform to make sure that we were actually using it as an educational tool to use the code as an educational tool. So the code is going to be, you just actually look at the code base for the CTF platform and say, oh, I wonder how can you actually configure SSL the right way? Well, we are trying to just address every single issue and every single proper configuration you should do for SSL, for example. Or how can you just make sure that your database is not compromised by having a massive SQL injections in your code base? Well, then you use the right tool. So it's like the code base can be used as an educational tool, and this is one of the benefits of having it as open source. And this, for example, was like the final game board for one CTF that we ran in Cambridge.
2 weeks ago in Cambridge with the top Cambridge security universities.
Yeah. So we were having this game running like on a room which have like people playing with it, and then we have another one which was sitting on the internet, which was open, but like the registration was tokenized, so we kind of like being able to give access to that. And we have the website that we have is if you want to just play around with it, you can just spin it up in your computer as a virtual machine. If you want to play with the demo site that we have, you can ask us for a token. We'll give you a token for the registration, and then you can just get access to it. So find us afterwards, and we'll give you access. The address is demo.fbctf.com. And well, that's pretty much what we are open sourcing today. And like I said, the backend or the platform takes care of everything. It does team registration. It provides you an admin page so you can actually manage the game that is running. The game board or game map is the risk type of thing, and also the scoring system. It does, for the people that are familiar with CTF games, it does provide Jeopardy and King of the Hill type of games. And it's developed the way that if you, for example, don't like the world map UI, you could use the platform as backend and customize it the way you want. So you just make it sit on the different endpoints we have to just send the right requests, and then it will just use your UI as the way to display the game. And also we have a library, like a library of challenges that you can start using. So you can request access. That's not public yet because basically to prevent cheating. If someone wants to run those challenges in a competition, if it's open in the internet, obviously the solution is going to be there. So that's not cool. So if you ask us, we'll give you fully access to the library of challenges. And as we do with other open source projects, we did a third-party security audit on the actual application. And we will publish the results of the pen test, which surprisingly were pretty good. We were not having any of the big OWASP top 10, thanks to probably XHP and HHVM good stuff. So and also we have Flow, which is another open source project from Facebook. It's a type checking JavaScript library. And the other thing that we are planning to do is full internationalization of the platform, because we've been approached by a lot of people from a lot of places that they want to run this as an educational main theme for their students from all over the world. And one of the things about security or code, open source is mostly the code is written in English, but like some other people really need to have like multiple options. So we are going to be implementing this as well. And well, just go to the repo, have a look, and then we have a bunch of issues open. If you think that we need something, work with us.
Yeah, and on the thing of people all over the world trying to get access to it, like these are sort of the use cases that we thought people wanting to use the CTF for. So competitions, people that already run them now can start using it. So there are schools doing it, security clubs in colleges, lots of conferences. So for example, we're going to use this platform to run routes in DEF CON this year. People can actually, so professors can use as a classroom instruction, not just for a security perspective, but because as you said, like we're using a lot of the technologies that Facebook has been using on our own app, like HHVM Flow. So it can serve as an example project for people that want to teach their students web application development, provisioning, deploying, and all that. So we like developed the repo in that sense to give that information to everyone. And people can use it as self-instruction if they want to get into the security world and try to pull their own games together with their friends and try to get some of the demo challenges that we have and learn from that. Companies can use it as a recruiting platform as well. So you can start up a game, put some people to play the game, some security professionals. It can be on a little bit more challenging mode than what maybe a high school or a middle school would set it up as, and you can use it as a recruiting platform. And as an example of career advantage, we have one of the main developers on the platform, Gusham. He wrote the blog post today about it. He said that basically when he was in college, he started getting to the CTF competitions, got really interested in it, learned a whole bunch of stuff from them, got into the security space, and because of those competitions, he also got attention from a whole bunch of from companies to see, wow, this guy knows what he's doing. So playing the CTFs, putting them together can be a great way to get you into the security space. And lastly, Facebook has something called the Bug Bounty program that we use for white hats to disclose vulnerabilities that we have on Facebook and on other apps that we have. So they disclose it first to us and get money for it if it's an actual vulnerability, so we can fix it in private and then we can disclose it publicly. So we are adding the CTF platform on that Bug Bounty program as well. So if you do play around with it today and you go and you find a vulnerability, we ask you to please go through our Bug Bounty website first, disclose it to us. If you want to help us fix it, let's do it. Then we can start a process of doing a pull request on GitHub. We just want that period of mitigating it, like if someone is actually going to use this exploit as a cheating on an actual game that's running. So instead of doing a pull request directly, you can go through us on the big Bug Bounty program and get money. So. And I think that's it. Happy hacking. Thanks.